Hello and welcome to Lazy Girl Creations. Today I'm going to make a video of how I do my Petri pendants. I'm going to show you my process. I'm trying to find one that, yes. So this is the general idea. Here we go. See these? So I'm going to be going for this kind of a look today. I really like the black in the background. This is one that does not have black. It's still really pretty, but with the black, I just think it gives such a cool effect. This is another one. And it really brings out the contrast of the colors. So what I'm going to do first, here's another one I wanted to show you. I really love this pattern. Kind of looks like a flower blooming. So I'm gonna try to do this in a few other shapes today. And I'm just going to mix up my resin real quick and then I'll come right back. Okay, so I haven't mixed my resin yet, but I did pour it. And I wanted to start recording because I wanted to talk about a couple of things about mixing your resin. So first of all, I'm using Let's Resin 2-part epoxy resin, 1-to-1 ratio. I am liking this resin. No problem so far. It's nice and shiny. The bubbles, I mean, that's kind of up to you to control, I think. I don't really know if different brands make that much of a difference in bubbles, but I used to have a bubble remover machine and then it broke because I'm not super careful with my things. And you'll also notice that I'm using disposable plastic cups. I am, I'm not the best at measuring things perfectly. You're really supposed to, but I measure with my eye. And, it always cures all the way, but I don't know if I would give other people that advice. I did try for a little while. I thought I was being smart by using a scale to measure my resin out. And I thought, oh, this is weird because I was like, oh, it doesn't look like the same amount, but it weighs the same, so it must be fine. Nope. That was dumb and wrong. That was just me not really paying attention. You're supposed to measure it out by volume, not by weight. So the amount of liquid, because the two parts don't weigh the same. So one part is a little heavier than the other part. So if you're weighing them out, and you're trying to do it that way, you're gonna get resin that doesn't cure all the way because you're not measuring out the right amount. So, lesson learned. I did that like twice before I realized it. So anyway, I wanted to also mention I'm gonna crop this, but I'm recording it by putting my phone propped up on a paper towel roll. I have all sorts of stands. I'm a photographer. I have all sorts of stands, but I just couldn't find exactly what I needed to make this video. And I haven't made videos for a couple of weeks now. So I improvised. But a lot of people on the Facebook groups have been asking me to give a tutorial. So I thought I would go ahead and improvise my phone stand. I figure it's better than nothing, so I hope that you can see everything clearly and that it works for you. Something that I've been working on is making like a palette for my colors. So I use Let's Resin alcohol inks, and I'm slowly making little dots, like these little dots, and putting, each color, one color per dot. and then labeling them. And I'll show you that either later or another time. And soon I'll have all of the colors, and that way I can see really what they look like in resin and not just in the bottle or from my memory or something. That way I can really color match more carefully. I think that'll be good. You'll notice that my, oh my God, words, Megan. You'll notice that my silicone molds are kind of messy. I just cleaned them. But yeah, like I said, I'm not the most organized, like, crafter in the world. So sometimes I make mistakes. And one of the things with this mold, Amazon sells different kinds of this mold. So I think I need to make an Amazon store so I can show you guys the one that I think is better. This one has more rounded edges on the front, the bottom, which when you flip it upside down turns out to be the front. Now I bought another one thinking that it was going to be the same kind, but it has more like square. I'll show you the difference. I have it right here. Okay, see this? It's like a little bit sharper in the front, a little bit more less rounded, I don't know. And then this one is like more rounded. See the difference? So this one I like better. It comes in from this mold, and this one comes from a different mold. And I noticed that the quality of this mold, you can see, this is the first time I use the mold, and look at, I mean, I don't know if you can really tell, but there's like some scratches and some stuff that transferred over from the mold that I was not too thrilled about. So I'm actually returning that mold, and I went ahead and ordered another one of these. So the reason that there's inks and some things stuck to this mold is because two things. Number one, the ink itself, you see in spots like this, over here, some of the inks stain silicone. It won't, if it's inside of your pendant mold, it won't transfer to your next project as long as you cleaned it with alcohol spray, 91% isopropyl alcohol. But it will stain. I mean, it just stains the mold. It doesn't really matter. So, sorry, my voice is a little bit scratchy today. Now, for these parts that are like resin stuck on there, that would be me using a torch. Okay, I had to pause because my kids came home, so if there's some background noise, apologies for that. So, what I was saying is these spots on the silicone mold, that is resin stuck on the mold that if I tried to rip it off, it would tear my mold. The reason it's there is because I used a torch, and you know, I go back and forth between using the torch and using the alcohol spray. The torch a lot of times damages the molds, so that's not a good thing, but sometimes it also does a better job of popping the bubbles, I think. And the alcohol spray, it does a really, really good job of popping the bubbles actually, but I think it interferes with my alcohol inks and the process of doing the Petris. So I think this is pretty good as far as being mixed. It's not cloudy anymore, it's clear, but I want to go ahead and give it like maybe like 5 minutes to let the bubbles rise, and then I'll hit it with a torch and then I'll start pouring. So I'll be right back. All right, so I'm switching to voiceover for this part. I had too much background noise with the kids and everything, so I'm gonna explain what's going on now. I did speed this video up double time for you, so you don't have to sit through every slow pour, but just keep that in mind when you're watching. It is twice as fast. So on the right side, you'll see that I put in some resin in those dots and put my alcohol inks in that, and that's for my palette. So I'll show you that a little bit later, the process that I'm using to create that palette. On the left side, I'm pouring resin in different shapes, pendants. Some of that is personal preference on which shapes I like, and some of that is because I've damaged my mold, and some of those shapes are no good anymore. So I get my new silicone mold for this exact one. I get my new one tomorrow, so I'll be able to have a fresh mold and use some of the shapes that I haven't been able to use in a while. And all the resin is now poured, and I'm just hitting it with a torch. Pop those bubbles real quick, not for very long, because then you will burn the mold. All right, and then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start putting the alcohol inks in. I am showing you each color that I'm using. The alcohol inks, again, are from Let's Resin, and I'm just kind of using my creativity here. I just eyeball it, but that's part of the reason I'm creating the palette, is so that I can see the colors and, you know, look at them before I pour them, so that I can really get creative with that and, you know, make choices that make more sense, especially with contrast. You know, using contrast is really smart in these pieces. It really draws your eye to the piece, especially after you add the white under the swirl. So anyway, I'm just going to let you watch this process. I'm going to be quiet now, and you can see all the colors that I used, and then we'll move on to the next section. All right, so I'm all done putting my colors in. Now I'm going to put in my sinker ink. This is the Let's Resin Sinker Ink See Deeper. And I do have a needle nose dropper that I sometimes use to do this, but I had actually mixed in some 91% isopropyl alcohol into that needle nose dropper, and I didn't want to use that for this project. So I went ahead and just used the bottle that it comes in. The kit that I bought with the alcohol inks, it came with like 3 little bottles, I believe, of this white sinker ink. I put about 1 drop per color in each little mold, and I just love watching this magic Petri process take place. It's very cool. All right, so this video is, this portion of the video is also double time, just so you know. I have waited about 1 hour, and now I'm going to take this little pin. It's a little metal pin, and I'm going to do my designs in my Petri pendants. So most of them you'll see are going to be swirls. I just like to make sure I get the white in there, like I catch the white with the needle before I do the swirl, so it kind of draws it all together. Now you'll see I just did that pattern with like the flower bloom pattern, and my camera is not in the right spot, I'm sorry, but basically you'll see it when I do it on other ones too. I go left to right and just kind of like loop left, right, all the way up, starting at the bottom. And then I draw down one line in the middle from top to bottom. And for that long one that I just did all the way straight down, all the way straight up a few times. It looks super cool every time. I love that one. Here we go. You can see the process of the blooming flower here. And since the pendant is upside down, I did it, from the top to the bottom, and then from the bottom to the top. It's just depends on which way it's facing, but I like to make sure that the hole, wherever the hole is, that's the top of the pendant. So that's the direction that I want the sort of bloom to look. I'm doing the same thing with this one. Yep, and just kind of keep in mind the colors that you are using when you want to do those flower bloom designs, because sometimes it's cool to put like green on the bottom and like a pink or a yellow or something lighter on top, so it really does look like leaves on the bottom and then a flower on top. With that really small one on the left up there, I did sort of a fiery squiggly line design. And again, for the rest of them, oh yeah, here we go. So this one I did a squiggly line design too, but I was kind of unsure of what I really wanted from it, so I went ahead and swirled it anyway. So I slowed this video down because I forgot to record it, the process, but basically I just put the black alcohol ink on top of each piece, and I actually waited a little longer than I meant to. I waited about 2 hours after I finished my swirl designs, and then I put the black on top of all of them, because this is going to be the back, and so it will cure all the way. Probably better if you wait more like 1 hour instead of 2, but I got busy, so kind of lost track of time. Okay, so this is what they look like out in natural sunlight. I'm gonna pick out this one. It's not my favorite. I really love the look of these. This one, and this one. So cool. I love all of them, but this one might be my favorite for the colors. So pretty. I love the way that the white, it just like lightens up the color. whatever alcohol ink color you put in, it doesn't look white. It mixes with it and it turns into like a lighter shade of the color. So I told you I was working on the palette, and sorry, my nails, they're a little grown out. I have an appointment tomorrow. Yeah, so I'm gonna make a palette. I'm making the palette with like just the alcohol ink, and then I'm also gonna make a palette that has alcohol ink plus white sinker ink so that I can see what the colors look like with the white. So even though this has like a couple blobs right there, it looks really cool in person at least. It's kind of hard to show. I might try sanding down the front to get rid of the blobs because I really like the pattern on the inside of this one. This one's also like less exciting to me because the color is just kind of one color. I mean, it's purple. Some people just would be happy with just purple, I'm sure. This one's interesting because it has like orange in the background. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I don't remember what I did with this, but it looks like orange in the light, like pink and purple on the rest of it. So I don't really understand why that one looks like that. It's weird. This one is super cool. Also, this one, super cool. So in the next video, or the next clip of this video, I'm going to show you how I sand down the backs. What I do to prepare them for jewelry. Alright. Now I'm using 180 grit sandpaper blocks. I like to use them wet. I feel like it gives a smoother result. So, and also it's better to wear gloves when you do this because you can scratch your fingers and it does hurt after a while. So, yeah, I just kind of quickly sand the bottom and then wipe off all of the dust from it, and we have a nice smooth back so it won't scratch people's skin if they wear it as a necklace. So this next step is optional, but I personally don't really like the look of sanded down resin, and for me it just doesn't feel finished. So I choose to do a UV resin backing when I've done a black back. Some of them have a transparent back, and what I'll do is I'll add 1-to-1 resin mixed with black pigment in those, and then I'll spread that on the backs of them. And after that, I don't need to sand it down, and I don't need to put a layer of UV resin. So, but for this, since I used the black alcohol ink in it, I sanded it down, and now I put my UV resin, and it just gives a more finished look. And here we go. This cured really nicely in the sun. And I saw this trick to dip it in cold water after it's done curing, just for UV resin. So I went ahead and tried it, and I do think it helped it just kind of seal. I don't know. I don't really know the science behind that, but anyway, now to finish things off, I'm going to get this pinch bail and my pliers. And these pinch bails I just got off Amazon. I don't really like this one actually. Some of the other ones are very pretty, but this is the only one I had free, so I have to buy some more. But yeah, you know, it's so easy. You just put it on there and then just kind of secure it closed with the pliers if you want. And it's done. Then you just put it on a chain or a necklace. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I am really just starting in my journey as a YouTube content creator, so please like and subscribe. Thank you.